hopefully have at some point. Everybody knows me, everybody knows Harrison, everybody knows Tara. Just shout out if you don't know anybody, but I think we have all mates. So, this is just to make sure that the ARPs are running how they're supposed to, and that everybody's on the same track and knows what they've got to do for the paperwork. Some of you will have done it before, so you know what's happening, but we do have quite a few new group leaders and training group leaders. And I think it's been a bit higgledy-piggledy in the past, so we just thought we'd go through it all so everybody knows what it is. And just if you want to ask a question anytime, just raise your hand on the raise your hand thing, and we can hopefully answer any questions you got as we go along. What's hard? You're probably me out, Harrison, by doing a what do I do? So just in case people don't know what the ARP is, it's an annual report presentation. So it's a chance to look back on the things that you've done the previous year. So one of the first things to remember is any reports that you do will be for 2024. So for example, there should be no talking about Jamboree because that's a 2025 event. It will just be events that happened in 2024. So that can be a little bit confusing for people, but we're just looking at 2024. And really, it's a little bit like what used to be called an AGM, but nobody likes AGMs. I'm sure you all know what they are. So they changed for quite a few years. So they changed the name and made it more friendly, I don't know, called an ARP. It's a chance for you to celebrate what you did in 2024 and for also for everybody to know how the Scout group is running. So as Harrison says in my little notes here, to be transparent and to engage with the families. And so everybody can see where their money went and what the things you've done. So you can highlight this is where we spent this money. So people, because it's their money, it's not yours and mine, it belongs to the families. So they then know where their money goes. So it's a good chance to celebrate that and to say this is where our money did. And then also because we are a registered charity, we have to show where the money went with the fundraising and things so that they can come back as part of the Charity Act, that we have to actually show where the financials and where the money went because we're registered charities. So there is some legal parts in it, and that they're as important as the celebrating what we're doing as a Scout group. All right. Any questions so far? Does that all make sense? Yes. Okay. So at some point between now and the end of April, each group has to have an ARP. Some people have been good enough and have sent me a date of when they're going to have it. That is good. If you know what date you are and you haven't let me know yet, please let me know. Somebody from the region team will be coming along to your event. So we just need to know as well so that we can organise who it's going to be and to make sure they've got plenty of notice to come along. Yeah, and at the ERP, we'll have to collect a whole lot of paperwork and things, so we'll go through that very soon. And you guys have to have yours so that we can have our Region 1. So the Region 1 is the first weekend in May. Is that the date we've moved it to? Second weekend of May. Anyway, it's the beginning of May, so that's why you guys have to have yours all done and wrapped up by the end of April, because then the region can hold their one too, and we can't hold ours until you hold yours. So your ARP can be whatever you want. It's to say it's a chance to celebrate what the group's done. You can do it anywhere you want. You can have it at the hall. You can go and have a picnic somewhere outside. You can do anything. What I would say is run an event for all the families so that people come along. Each group's different, but the groups that I've been involved with, we've often done it on a section night, because that way we've got more people have come. And done things like we've had bingo, we've had a quiz night, or that sort of things, barbecues, family fun nights. What else? What other things have you done, Harrison? Tara, have you got any other suggestions?
Flipping slides.
Yeah. One of the groups that I used to be with, we did it was like a bit of a carnival thing. So just, yeah, but we were quite a big group, so it was a good activity. But yeah, it was something different.
Yeah, we've also done one, had a family camp and done it at the end of the camp, or we had a cub camp for the weekend and done it on the Sunday when parents came to pick people up. And again, so that way you've got kind of a captive audience, but make it an event that people want to come to, and then tag the ARP on rather than being, this is ARP, come along to it, because I think that brings more people in, that it's something they want to come to, and then we just happen to be doing the ARP as part of it. So at the ARP, you should have a report from each section. Now, you can do that in any way you want to do it. I quite like it that having the youth members doing a report for their own section of what they've done. Obviously a little bit easier with the older youth members rather than the joys, but yeah, they can go through and do what is. I've created PowerPoint videos and things in the past, and also the thing to do is make sure you're celebrating anybody who got badges, like major badges. If you had a Grey Wolf or you had a Queen Scout, make sure you're celebrating all those sort of things. And I think it's also nice to celebrate the leaders, if there's something that they've done and bring all that to it. I've actually got some service badges for one of the groups in the area, so that would be a good chance at that time to hand them out to the leaders and all that sort of stuff. There's no set format to how the ARP has to go. You guys can run it any way you want, but yeah, you've got to table the reports, and it's a thank you for everybody that's coming along on what they're doing. And you can invite anybody you want. So if you've got people you want, local people you want to thank for helping the group out, you can do all that sort of stuff as well and add all those people to come as well. All makes sense? I'll just share. Everybody's very quiet. No questions? Okay. Now, fun part. Sorry, I will share my screen. 1 second. Hell, if I hit the share the screen button. All right, so all the paperwork for the ARP is on the Scouts New South Wales website. So it's here under ARP pack. And then when you open it up, it gives you a little checklist of everything you need to do. A little bit about what the ARP is all about, is what we sort of talked about. And then into what you've got to do. The requirements, the legal bits we need to do, and then some minutes and a whole lot of things you've got to do. So let's go down the list. So first of all, stop sharing just so I can see you all. The first thing, the most important thing is we have to have your books audited. So that is the most important thing about the ARP. So they have to be audited for 2024. I have confirmed nobody is behind, nobody apart from 2 groups, and I'll contact them, are behind. Everybody else is up to date, so they're only auditing 2024. So that has to be done, and it has to be started right now because that is the most important part. And if that's not done, then you can't run your ARP. So you can ask anybody, if you've got somebody in the group that's a accountant or a bookkeeper or knows somebody, ask them out. I believe some of the groups treasurers have swapped books in the past. If you've got other Scout group close to you, that treasurers audited the other one, so that can be done too. If you get very stuck, reach out to me because I may have somebody that I can twist their arm to do them for us as well. But yeah, that's the most important thing. So if you haven't started on them, you need to start on them right now and get them moving. All your fundraising certificates need to be up to date. So you need to make sure that they are all done and back. If you're missing any, just email the North Coast Region email address and they will sort them all out for you, anything that's missing, but they all have to be back in there as well. You need to fill in the C7 form for the office bearers. Let's go this way, which is in here. So the C2. So you have to fill in the office bearers form, which is the C2. So just need to make sure that everybody is that you have is there. That's one open. Not take too long. The important ones, you must have a chairperson, a treasurer, and a secretary. Those ones must be filled. If you do not have those, again, you cannot run your ARP. So there's 3 that you have to have filled. And you also probably want to have the trustees done. So they're the people, if something happens to your group, they're the ones that would look over it and make sure that all the paperwork and things. So like, they don't have to be anybody. I would just ask, if you've got a family who come along to every event, ask them if they'd like to do it. Hopefully they will never have to do anything, but they just have to have that person on there to take it on if something happened. Any new people you've got, like the treasurer, secretary, chairperson, or anybody else that's joining your committee from new, they just have to register as an adult supporter and they have to go into Scout Hub. So all that paperwork needs to be done as well.
Lynn,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Generally, like other committees like I've been on, like your AGM is kind of when you elect or vote or decide on those people,
Yep.
like your chairperson, treasurer, and so forth. But so do we don't do it at the ARP, we do it before the ARP, like decide who's going to...
So it's not an AGM. We used to do that and we found that nobody wanted to volunteer to do it. So there's no elections. People choose to do it and they sign up to do the roles. And that is done before the ARP. So when you get to the ARP, it really is a celebration of what's happened. You're not getting bogged down and, oh, we don't have a chairperson. Can you stand up to do it now? That should all be sort of long before you get to the ARP. That makes sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So you want to start twisting arms now. And if you haven't twisted any of these arms by the time the ERP runs, then yeah, we can't run the ERP. So someone needs to be standing up. So it is better in some ways because you're going into it knowing who's going to do it, but it is harder because you've got to start working on it earlier. Hopefully you've all got somebody lined up to do that job. And yeah, and it's you've got to get them into signed up as adult supporters and into Scout Hub. So you need to do your fire safety report.
Sorry,
Yeah.
can the group leader be the chairperson?
No.
No. Okay, it's got to be the president.
It's got to be somebody completely different. So the group committee runs separately from the rest of the group. So the group leaders on that support committee, but they really have to be separate things from the leaders. So the group leader is the only one that goes between the two, but they have to be 2 separate entities, the leaders and the support committee. So it had to be different people on each arm. So yeah, you need to hopefully find some parents who would like to do it.
No worries, thank you.
Or local peoples, they don't have to be connected to the group. If you've got someone that likes to volunteer for things, you can ask them as well. It doesn't have to be someone already in the group, but yeah, it probably is one of the hardest things, is filling those 3 roles. My husband was chairperson at one point and he doesn't do scouts, but we needed someone to do it, so he got that job. He didn't last very long. And that's true. Another thing is, the person doesn't have to do it forever. It could just be that person does temporary until you find someone else. You've got somebody else who's keen to do it, but maybe is really busy with work at this moment and would do it later on. You can always put someone else in the role and we can change it through the year. They're not tied into that job forever. Okay, what have we got to next? Fire safety. Yeah, so you have to do, so there's a few forms that need to be done for the health and safety type thing. So that's the fire. So you have to have check for your extinguishers and all that thing. You have to have these guys out to do all that. So you can fill in your overnight sleeping in the hall form can go with that as well, plus your WHS, and then the assets and property register. So hopefully some of the groups have already got the asset and property manager register running, and you're just going to change it year to year. I know could be hard, but that is probably the easiest way to do it. It's a big job to set up, but you can run it along. So those forms need to go with it. What else is Harrison saying?
Yeah, another question, sorry.
Yeah.
With the fire safety, is that done in the 2024 or is it done at 2020?
No, you have to do it now. So you have to get someone to come out and do an inspection of the hall for the fire safety.
Has to be done this year rather than last year.
Yeah, I have to be within dates. I think the last 6 months, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think the last 6 months or but it has to be in date.
Okay.
It's usually every 6 months, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They come out. Our hall gets done in April and October. I think they get inspected twice a year. I think the actual certificate's 12 months.
Okay, thank you.
from memory.
Yeah. So if you've not got that already happening, it's probably something to find a company and to set up regularly to come that every 6 months and do it, and then you don't even have to think about it. And probably get with that one a good time. It doesn't have to be done, but maybe a pest one done at the same time, like a similar schedule, and that's a good idea too, to keep on top of the pest report as well, even like once a year for that one. So yes, we're going to do the hall inspection checklist, the group assets, and then the overnight activities, but that goes with the fire. So if you haven't got your fire certificate, you can't do the overnight sweeping in the halls one, so they all go together. And then the WHS one as well. And Harrison's written here, emphasise the importance of keeping copies and submitting documents to the region office. So some of them are you do online and send it off online. I haven't done them for a while, so I can't remember whether you can print copies of, but I think you probably can. If you can do that, and then that way you've got a copy of what you sent off. But yeah, some of them are online forms that you fill in now and send off, and you should get something in the back to say it's done, because I don't know whether I'll get a copy or who will get a copy of what's done, but if you've got that, and at least we can know, yes, we've done it, and we can chase up if something goes missing.
Yeah. So you can download a copy or like a PDF copy of, say, the P10, which is the whole inspection sort of form that you fill out. And I usually just put that in the ARP folder and hand it over with the rest of the documents. And that way the Oh, am I back?
It's gone. I just can't hear us.
I think it might have been you, Lynn.
It's me. Okay, that's good. I'll just go away then.
So essentially you just hand that in with the rest of the documents, and that way your region representative will know if you have done it or not. And just sort of keeps everything in one place. But yeah, it'll go off to state office, so it'll just be in their records, and you'll never hear about it again unless there's a problem.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll print the checklist out, so when our region person comes, they'll go, right, if you give me this form, you give this form, I'm gonna just go and tick them all off, and then that way it's easy for all of us. So if you've got the pile ready to go when they come, it makes life so much easier for everybody. All right, well, Harrison's put a little sample agenda here on my bit of paper for the meeting. His is very formal. I wouldn't have it as formal as his, but there you go. He has put a welcome by the group chair, some apologies, any minutes from the previous meeting, which should be accepted. Summaries of written reports. See, I've never done written reports. We've always just had, I would never print them out. We've just had the kids talk about what they want to talk about, and we've done presentations, but you don't have to have written reports. It can all be verbal. There doesn't need to be a physical copy of the report there. Adoption of the group report, and then introducing who the new office bearers are. Presentation of any awards, and then if you've got any guest speakers, but I mean, you don't need to keep it doesn't need to be very long, because they say if you're going to do something else in the night, you want that to be the main part. There just needs to be a bit that happens before you get to the fun. Talked about that. We've talked about those bits. Any questions? What are we up to? Did I miss anything else?
Yeah, sorry, Lynn, again.
No, you're right.
With the kids, should they be encouraged to be at the meeting as well too?
Yes, you want, which is why I would say do it on a section night, and then the kids are coming anyway, and run a family event. So run something the whole family can do. As I say, we've done things like family bingo and had prizes, and you can do things like lucky door prizes. Make it an event to come to, and you just happen to be tagging the ARP on at the end. A family supper night or campfire or movie night or something, just something that will bring families out, and we'd run the ARP as part of that. And we also always had our leaders and youth members in uniform, so families were casual obviously, but we wore uniform to the event. But again, you don't have to do that. It's your event. You can do whatever you want. And there's not one size fits all. Everybody works well for their group. As long as the paperwork's done, we don't care what you do. Any other questions? Anything else somebody wants to add? Harrison, got anything else to add?
No, not particularly. I put it all on my notes there for you.
You can send it out to everybody if you want. You could send your notes out. It's quite good. Is everybody written down what they're going to do? Okay, well, that's all. If nobody's got any questions, so the main things are start working on getting your books audited. As I say, if you're struggling to do that, reach out to me and I hopefully can have somebody will help you. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm sure I can twist his arm. He was a group treasurer for my group before, so he knows how the Scout books work, so it's not so bad. Try and do your office bearers positions. That's the other important thing, and then let me know when your ARP is going to be so that we can arrange who from region is going to come along to see it. If you need any help at any other times, reach out to us. We're here to help you. If you've got any other questions after this done, just send me a message. Okay, time for dinner. All right, see you all later then. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Lynn. That was really good.
See you. Bye.